Talk to me. WSRadio.com. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good at the Christian Watercooler.
Welcome to the Christian Watercooler, part of the Christian Watercooler Radio Network, with your hosts, Bill Gruber and Kaz Taylor.
And thank you very much, Lee Maribel. Yes, Scripture tells us in Ephesians that God has called some to be pastors for the perfecting the saints, for the work of the ministry. I'm Bill Gruber with my partner, Kaz Taylor, offering living water from around the Christian Water Cooler. And today we're going to discover what it takes to become a youth pastor. Great, important role in today's society. Kaz, this broadcast will have a very unique perspective, and I'd like you to tell me why.
Well, I'll tell you why indeed. My son is desiring to become a youth pastor, and as a senior in high school, he has a senior presentation to put together. And I said, you know what, let's do an entire program around this. So we brought Brant Taylor, my son. Brant, it's good to have you on the radio show with us.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to bring on a number of different people that have been involved or are involved in youth pastorship and find out the who, why, what, where, when, and how.
So this project is a student project that you're undertaking, and this program is the project?
It's part of it, yeah. I have to do a whole senior exhibition, and I'm going to use this as a part of it. So just to talk about the career and like what I'd like to do, and so
what he wants to do when he grows up.
Are you going to capture the audio portion of this and present it at class?
Yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. So.
And let's not tarry any further. I want to bring in a head pastor of a church here in the San Diego area. It's the Christian City Church in the San Diego area. Pastor Jurgen is how he likes to be called. Pastor, it's good to have you on. Help me as I try to pronounce your last name,
Mathesius. Spelling test, unfortunately, that last name of
Mathesius?
Yeah, Mathesius.
Mathesius. Yeah, I like when I look at it, it looks like a combination of Matthew and Jesus.
Yeah, I love that. I've never heard that before.
Which is a good thing.
I'll take that.
I'll take it anytime, too. Good to have you. And Brant's going to ask a few questions, and we're going to jump on in, Pastor.
Right.
And we know that you're the head pastor or the lead pastor over at Christian City Church in the San Diego area, isn't it? Like in the Penasquitos area, in that area?
Yeah, that's right, in Carmel Valley.
In Carmel Valley.
You sound like you're from Southern California.
Yeah. Mate, I'm a German with an Aussie upbringing, so I've got the German name with an Australian accent, and it just confuses everybody.
Well, just quickly, Kaz said that actually California was your mission field?
That's correct.
And you founded a church here as a result of that?
That's right.
Terrific.
And I think we'll have Brant ask a question or two, and we'll kind of jump on in as far as, I know you've been involved in a lot of different phases of pastoring, so you'd be the good guy to start things off. Brant, what did you have in mind?
Hey, Pastor Jurgen, how you doing?
Good, Brant. Yourself?
I'm doing awesome. Well, I guess one of my first questions that I'd like to ask you were, as a pastor, how important is youth ministry in your church?
I actually think that it is the most important job in church life because of this one reason. It is the ministry that keeps the church connected to the emerging generation. All the way through the Scripture, God declares through his prophets and through his psalmists that one generation shall proclaim your good works to another generation. And so what youth ministry does is youth ministry makes sure that the church is staying relevant and connected to the emerging generation. So, I mean, God forbid that we should ever miss reaching a generation. And that's what youth ministry does. So to me, it is like one of the key, pivotal, most vital roles in church life.
You mentioned in the Psalms the scripture, and that reminded me. And I strolled through the scripture and found in 2 Timothy there's a verse in 2 Timothy 2, and it talks about, in the things that you have heard of me among many witnesses, the same commission to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. And so what it is basically passing the baton of ministry and spreading it around. And I know that that's what you do in your ministry. You give other people responsibility for their parts, and the youth pastorship is one of those components. And I think that would kind of transition to the next question that Brant wants to answer.
Yeah, totally. I was wondering, like, also, because youth ministry is super, super important. So, in youth ministry, what would you look for in a youth pastor? Like, what kind of characteristics or values or what's important to you to have a good youth pastor?
Okay. The first thing that I look for is a heart for God. So you've got to youth ministry is not about what you preach; it's what you example. I always tell all our youth leaders in Australia that leadership is example, and young people don't care what you say; they watch what you do. And so the first thing is you've got to have a young guy or gal as your youth pastor who has a heart for God, who loves the house. And then the second thing that is right up there with it is a heart for young people. Young people can sniff out a phony.